Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Game Day Show. This is your source for college football entertainment. I'm Ethan Bass, your host, and last night was the NFL draft. It was a huge night. We're going to be talking about all that in today's episode. We're going to be talking about Trey Lance and why I think he's going to be the best quarterback out of all the quarterbacks who went last night. He went to the 49ers. We're going to talk all about him. We're going to talk about the best wide receiver, in my opinion. Who do I think was the biggest winner of the 2021 NFL draft in the first round, obviously. And we're going to be talking about the Aaron Rodgers situation in the NFL. Where do I think he's going to go and what's going on with the Packers? We got a fantastic episode with you guys tonight. We are back with the Game Day Show. We're starting up again. We took a little break just to catch up on things, redo some resources. Unfortunately, today we're not going to be doing our normal video setup. I will have clips of the highlights still of the players in the background, as you can see, starting soon. So please follow my socials, Bass Productions on Instagram, also All Gator Nation on Instagram. They're combined. Ethan.Bass15 if you want to hit the personal, and go follow me on Twitter, Ethan.Bass15. Great job, everyone. We're on Twitter too, like I just said, and we're also on TikTok. We're growing on TikTok too, Ethan.Bass2. All right, boys, let's get to it. We're going to talk some NFL draft. Let's go. So with the third overall pick yesterday's draft, Trey Lance got drafted out of North Dakota State. Now, in my opinion, this dude is going to be probably the best quarterback to come out of this draft class, and here's why. I think this kid has a gut. Now, we all know that the 49ers already have Jimmy Garoppolo, and they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but they had an injury prone. Jimmy Garoppolo is a very, he gets injured all the time, so this could be a situation where Trey Lance slides in. I don't know what Kyle Shanahan's going to do as the head coach of the 49ers. We can see that in the fall. But Trey Lance, if I don't know if you guys know his recruiting statement, but Trey Lance never got recruited to be a D1 quarterback. Now, Trey Lance got recruited to North Dakota State as a quarterback, and I feel like that was his only offer that he can get as a quarterback. Most other FBS teams wanted him to go as a wide receiver or running back, and the only school, I guess, and North Dakota's an FCS school, but Trey Lance really wanted to be a quarterback, and I respect that. Trey Lance has a gut in his feeling, and I think he's going to progress. Nobody believed him as a quarterback, and look at him in 2019. I mean, he threw 2,700 yards, 0 interception, 28 touchdowns, fantastic. North Dakota State, since the COVID, they only had one game this year, which he had 149 yards in with 1 interception, 2 touchdowns. But I mean, this kid is a worker. I love what Trey Lance is going to do. I also want to talk about another quarterback, Mac Jones, going to the Patriots. Now we're switching a little gears here. Mac Jones with Bill Belichick. I mean, that's a kind of a perfect fit. I mean, Mac Jones is very similar to Tom Brady, kind of, where he loves, he's good at moving in the pocket. He's a very strong thrower and not necessarily the best runner, but I mean, he can still run. He's way better Tom Brady than running, but Tom Brady is the GOAT, obviously. That Mac Jones, watch out for him. I love Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence went the Jaguars with a reuniting with Urban Meyer. Love it. I heard Tim Tebow might play as tight end, reunited with Urban Meyer as Gator days. Whew, that would be a strong offense. Imagine the first touchdown Trevor Lawrence throws to Tim Tebow. Who do you think the crowd's going to chant? Trevor Lawrence or Tebow? That's my worry. Because the crowd's obviously going to chant Tebow's back. So be like, oh, we have Tim Tebow, but is Trevor Lawrence really our star quarterback of the future? Anyways, that's just that afterthought if Tebow does play as tight end. Very bizarre scenario. So yeah, I love Trevor going to the Jaguars. I mean, we all predicted it. And Zach Wilson, I love it too. So Zach Wilson's going to the Jets. I love his stat line. Last year, of course, he played for BYU. BYU hasn't had a lot of quarterbacks go. I love what Zach Wilson's doing. I mean, he put in like a pistol-heavy offense last year. Played pretty good. He was the overall QB ranked number 2 in the draft. Kyle Pitts went to Atlanta. Whew, that's going to be a stud offense right there with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. But the only worry I have with that is Matt Ryan. I don't know how much longer he has. I hope that they draft a quarterback because I don't know how long Matt Ryan has. The Browns, they do get Jamar Chase reuniting with Joe Burrow. But the problem I have with that is what happens. Like, I feel like Burrow's going to get hurt because they literally have no O-line. And we saw that this year. He tore his ACL or something. I really want the Browns to get an O-line since they don't have an O-line. I mean, I've seen memes on Twitter and Instagram of like Burrow going down again and the same meme going on and on. So we desperate if you're a Browns fan, you really need O linemen coming out of the second and third rounds tonight. Jalen Waddle to the Dolphins. That's a very underrated pick. Jalen Waddle has a very classy suit, by the way. But Jalen Waddle to the Dolphins, that's very classy of him. I feel like that Jalen Waddle paired with Tua, they're kind of reuniting, which is gonna be great. Even though Tua sometimes does struggle in the passing game, I think Jalen Waddle is gonna be a perfect fit for the Dolphins. Right there. I also want to talk about another guy, Najee Harris, going to the Steelers. Who and right after that, ETN is reunited with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Jaguar in Jacksonville. Fantastic pick there. I guess they both wanted Clemson players, I guess. But let's move on to the winner. Now, the winner of the draft, I have the New York Giants. Now, we all know the Giants traded their pick to move down to 20, and they drafted Kadarius Toney. And by the way, Kadarius Toney is a stud. I'm a Gators fan, as you guys know. And Kadarius Toney, man, he can move everywhere. I mean, he's like a human joystick, like an Xbox. If you ever play Xbox or PS5, if you play Madden, I mean, he is just moving all over the place, and it's honestly cool. Like, I mean, if I'm showing his highlights right now, I mean, you can see him juking, his spinning. I mean, it's crazy what he can do. But I love what the Giants did with their pick and how they traded from the Bears to number 20. They had the 11th pick, but they got the Bears' 20th pick this year, which they drafted KT with. They got the 164th pick this year. They got the 2022 first round pick, which we don't know. The Bears are pretty bad. I'm sorry, Bears fans, but they're been pretty bad for the last couple of years. So that could be a top 10 pick. That could be a top 15 pick. We don't know. In 2022 fourth round pick. So I love what the Giants did. And I feel like the Giants really wanted like a Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith type, but they realized that all those players were gone. Jamar Chase too. So they decided to trade back, and they know that Kadarius Toney would have been on the board. And Kadarius Toney is not a Jalen Waddle, but Kadarius Toney is still a very explosive mismatch type of player that I feel like the Giants still got their money's worth there. I mean, they won this draft by a long shot. I feel like the Raiders lost this draft. I don't think it was smart of them to draft the offensive lineman. I mean, that's what all the experts are saying, that the Raiders lost this draft with drafting Leatherwood at Alabama. So, I mean, they could have got Dickerson, but who knows there. But I think the Giants did a great job there. All right, moving on. So I think the best wide receiver of this whole entire first round is going to be Jalen Waddle. I talked about him before a little. I think that Jalen Waddle and possibly Jamar Chase too, reneging with Joe Burrow, but I said earlier that they have literally no O-line help. But Jalen Waddle is going to be a superstar. I feel like that Jalen Waddle with Tua, I said Tua has a little passing problems, but I feel like Jalen Waddle gets it done. I mean, if you saw what he did in 2019 with Tua, I mean, that was a spectacular show. I mean, he did towards ACL last year. I mean, he did come back for the championship game, which I give very much props to Jalen Waddle for. I know he could have sit out that, but I feel like he wants to compete. And also, people were saying like he should have gone with Devontae with the Dolphins. I'm like, okay, if we look at Devontae, everyone's doubting his size. I mean, he's still won the Heisman, but if you look at the NFL, the cornerbacks are so much bigger than in college that I don't feel like that Devontae Smith can get around them. I feel like he's going to die out there. But I mean, Devontae is a very natural catch, like passer. So like he catches the ball so nicely that Jalen Waddle doesn't. I mean, Jalen Waddle obviously can catch the ball pretty good, but Devontae is just so much better at that. But the thing about Jalen Waddle is that he also has the shiftiness. Like I was talking about Kadarius Toney. Jalen Waddle's a Kadarius Toney 2.0. If you're a Gator fan watching, that Jalen Waddle can shift around. He can also run routes pretty amazing too. It's just that he's not as natural catchable as Devontae Smith. Now, it was great seeing him get picked in all the flashy suits. I said that a little earlier too. How about the Cowboys though, man? They also did pretty good in this draft too. Drafting Parsons out of Penn State. I mean, they dropped a little, the 14th pick to get Parsons. I mean, still get that DE, the linebacker that can shift around. I mean, he can either do like the edge rush. If you're watching the highlights right now, I mean, he can go off the edge. He can go in the linebacker position. He's a great stud. I feel like he's also going to be a star there, Parsons from Penn State. Justin Fields. Now, a lot of people are talking about Justin Fields. They did say he would drop, right? I mean, he did go to the Bears at So he went to the Bears at pick 11 when they swapped with the Giants. But I don't know why Justin Fields drops. I mean, if you remember watching Justin Fields was originally committed to Georgia. Now, I didn't feel like he won the battle with Jake Fromm there in Georgia back in 2018. So then he wanted to transfer to Ohio State. Now everyone's like shocked, like the number one quarterback in the nation is transferring, or ranked quarterback for recruiting wise, is transferring to Ohio State when he just arrived at Georgia. But I feel like it was for the better. I feel like that Georgia really liked Jake Fromm, and then he transferred to Ohio State, and then I mean, a lot of people were doubting him too, like this season, like the Ohio State season. I mean, they almost never made the Big Ten championship game. I mean, everyone was down Justin Fields, and I really hope this man, but it's gonna be really tough to succeed in Chicago. I mean, we all saw what happened to Mitchell Trubisky there. It's gonna be really tough to succeed in Toronto, in Chicago. So really hope Justin Fields are the best, but I just don't see it. So Aaron Rodgers does not want to come back to Green Bay. Now, a lot of people are saying that he could go to the 49ers. The Packers may trade him. But to be honest with you, the Packers are not trading him right now. I mean, even John Lynch, the Packers GM, literally just said it's not going to happen. So what do you do if you're the Packers? Because you have a quarterback that just won the MVP that does not want to come back. Now, what do you do? I think they need to trade him or at least cut him because he's not going to come back. I mean, they did draft Justin Love last year's draft, but I don't know if he's good enough. I haven't seen him at all since Aaron Rodgers was the MVP. But the 49ers have backup plan. I mean, they did obviously just draft Trey Lance. But I mean, this is old news. I mean, if you're Green Bay, do you trade Aaron Rodgers? Do not trade Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he was the MVP, but he did say he does not want to come back at all. And fun fact that I heard on College Gameday yesterday that apparently no Packers quarterback has ever been through the Packers system through 17 years. So 16 years is like the max thing for the Packers, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know what the Packers are going to do. It's such a complicated system, what the Packers are going to do with Aaron Rodgers, that we simply don't know enough information yet. I'm going to get to that in next week's show if anything happens. But we have an exciting 2 rounds tonight. We just talked about Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but we have an exciting 2 and 3 rounds tonight. We get to see a couple more quarterbacks. Kyle Trask out of Florida, Kelman out of A&M. That Stanford guy go out tonight. We get to see a lot of defensive linemen, a lot of cornerbacks, a lot of different types of people. Now, the second round's going to be so hyped just because, like, we don't know who's going to get picked. I mean, the first 5 picks, we kind of had an idea. It was going to be Pitts, Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, all those people. But I feel like the second and third rounds, we have no clue who's going to. I mean, we have speculation, obviously, but we don't know who's going to go, and that's what's so exciting about the second and third round. All right, guys, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on the show of the Game Day Show. Hope you have a great night tonight. We got second and third tonight, and then 4 through 7 tomorrow. Have a great day. You all enjoy draft night.